It was supposed to be a fresh start. Mark and his younger brother Sam had moved into their new house just outside of town, hoping for a bit of peace after months of chaos. The place was a little run down, sure, but it was cheap and big enough for the two of them. The house sat alone on an old dirt road, surrounded by thick woods that stretched on for miles. The first couple of days went by smoothly. They spent their time unpacking, fixing little things here and there, and adjusting to the quiet. But on the third night, strange things started happening. It was around midnight when Mark heard the first noise, a soft creak, like someone was walking around downstairs. At first he thought it was Sam, but when he called out, Sam groaned from the other room, obviously still half asleep. Mark grabbed his phone and checked the time, 12:13 a.m. He decided to ignore it, chalking it up to the house settling. The next night, the noises came again, only this time they were louder. Mark listened closely, heart racing as the sound of footsteps moved through the hallway downstairs, stopping just below the staircase. He stared at the ceiling, not daring to move. After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps slowly faded. By the time morning came, Mark convinced himself it was just his imagination, even though Sam mentioned something weird too. "I kept hearing knocking from the walls," Sam said, rubbing his eyes as he poured cereal. "Thought it was you messing around." Mark shook his head. "No, man. I heard footsteps last night. Someone, or something, is walking around downstairs." Sam laughed it off, but Mark could tell he wasn't completely joking. The rest of the day passed with a strange tension in the air. Both of them felt it, though neither would admit it out loud. That night, things got worse. Mark was woken by a loud bang. He shot up in bed, his heart pounding in his chest. It wasn't just any noise. It sounded like someone had slammed a door. He grabbed his phone, the screen lighting up the room just enough for him to see the time. 12:13 a.m. again. Same time as before. He got out of bed and quietly opened his door. The hallway was pitch dark, but at the end he could make out the faint outline of the attic door, something he hadn't noticed before. "Sam, you up?" Mark called out in a hushed voice, but there was no answer. He slowly made his way down the hall, his bare feet making soft thuds against the wooden floor. The closer he got to the attic door, the more uneasy he felt. He could hear it again, the sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, just above him. Someone was up there. He stood frozen for a moment before backing away, making a beeline for Sam's room. He pushed the door open and flicked on the light. Sam was still in bed, but his face was pale, eyes wide. "You heard that, right?" Sam whispered. Mark nodded. "Someone's in the attic." Without saying another word, they both headed for the front door. Mark fumbled with the lock, his hands shaking. As they stepped outside, the cool night air hit their faces, but it didn't make them feel any safer. They spent the rest of the night in Mark's car, too scared to go back inside. By the time the sun rose, they agreed it was time to check out the attic. Armed with a flashlight and an old baseball bat, Mark and Sam climbed the stairs. The attic was dusty and cold, but empty. They checked every corner, every box, but there was no sign of anyone. Just when they were about to head back down, Sam noticed something. Scratches on the inside of the attic door, deep and jagged, like someone had been clawing at it from the inside. Neither of them said a word as they left the house. They didn't bother locking the door behind them. They never went back. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling tales. What would you do if you found scratches like that in your new home? Let us know in the comments below.